So when you make games on Rec Room, you have this funny little bar on the top of your screen. It's called your ink limit and dictates how much stuff you can put into your room. Some things take up more ink, such as props and mirrors will take up a lot of ink, versus Maker Pen objects and tubes don't take almost any ink. And when you make larger scale maps, you really want to focus on optimizing your ink usage to keep performance stable, as more ink most of the time means laggier rooms. Today, I'm going to go over 3 ways you can save on ink, fix performance issues, and get the most out of your ink limit. First things first, we're going to start with decorational objects. By going to the configure tool in your Maker Pen, then clicking on your Maker Pen object, you can select the physics mode. By default, your physics mode will be set to environmental, which means that when you collide with the shape, it will collide with you, pushing you back as if it were really there. Changing it to decorational will reduce the ink cost that an object takes up because you're taking away its hitbox. So, if you don't think you need to collide with an object, set it to decorational. This is used for small props, and especially on background builds. Like you can see behind me, trees back there are all set to decorational because we're trying to save that ink because we're not ever going to head out there and touch those trees. Next, we're going to be talking about merging. Merging your shapes is probably the biggest way to save ink on this list that we're going to talk about. Simply go to the select tool in your Maker Pen, click on 2 Maker Pen objects and press merge. This will limit the ink that they take up by combining them into one object. And please note that only Maker Pen drawn objects can be merged, so items like guns, swords, and props cannot be merged with shapes. Another side note is that if you're trying to merge objects and it is kicking you out of the menu, that means that you have too many shapes in one object and you'll need to start merging items with each other in another separate shape. Our next method to saving ink is more of a tip rather than a setting. You need to make sure that when you're building with lots of shapes, that some aren't getting lost in places that you can't see them. A big example of this is when you're making terrain and you're using so many shapes and merging them all together. A lot of shapes can easily get stuck under maps or in places you can't see them. Try to go through and delete them and clean up those builds because that will help you optimize in the long run. Simply put, if you can't see the shape, it serves no purpose to the visual integrity of your room to keep it there. So try to keep track of objects you use so that they all get used and don't waste your ink. I hope these quick tips and tricks helped. If you made it this far in the video, we ask that you subscribe to the channel for more. Check us out on Instagram at sideprojectsrr and check out our creations at sideprojectsrecroom.com. Bye guys.